Once upon a time, there was a young basketball player who had dreams of becoming one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
All I want to say is this to my friend and his wife and his family. Happy birthday to you.
They were more than heroes. They were icons that ruled the courts and packed every arena. Their names sold out stadiums, their jerseys flew off shelves, and fans worshipped every move. But behind that bright spotlight hid a storm no one saw coming. The NBA's had legends rise to glory, and legends crash harder than anyone could imagine. Some of these stars weren't just balling out on the court, they were fighting battles no one knew existed. One life built for cameras, polished, perfect, unstoppable, and another buried in silence, loaded with pain, secrets, and the chaos they tried to hide. This isn't about records or rings, it's about the real cost of greatness, when the lights finally go dark. Dennis Rodman wasn't just a basketball player, he was a walking paradox, wild and unstoppable. Covered in tattoos, dripping in glitter, and surrounded by pure chaos, he lived life with no breaks. On the court, he was a warrior who feared nothing. Off the court, he was a full-blown storm no one could control.
Oil and water mix.
Yeah. You know what? And I love Dennis. I really do. He's an unbelievable player, incredibly athletic. He was like Superman. Like he just, just a freak of nature. A guy could run all day long, never got tired, and was like the Energizer Bunny.
He played like a man possessed, throwing his body into every rebound, diving headfirst for every loose ball. But when the lights went off, the man who gave everything to the game didn't know who he was anymore. That's when the other Dennis came out. Rodman once said, "I wasn't born to fit in. I was born to stand out," and he meant it. He wasn't like Jordan. He wasn't like Pippen. He didn't want to be a role model. He wanted to be free, even if that freedom destroyed him. After winning 2 titles in Detroit, Rodman started to spiral. When the team broke apart, so did he. He was found alone in his truck, holding a loaded gun, thinking about ending his life. Later, he said, "I didn't want to die. I just wanted someone to notice." That moment, that breaking point, created the Dennis Rodman the world came to know. He dyed his hair green, then red, then blonde. He showed up to a book signing in a wedding dress and said he was marrying himself. He partied with Madonna, dated Carmen Electra, and became the most talked about man in sports. The NBA called him a distraction. The tabloids called him a freak. But in a world that tried to control every player's image, Dennis was chaos personified. And the crazy part? He was still one of the best defenders in the world. During the 1998 NBA Finals, the Chicago Bulls were chasing their 6th championship. Everyone was locked in, except Dennis. He vanished in the middle of the series on no call, no message, just gone. Where was he? Las Vegas, partying with Carmen Electra. Michael Jordan had to fly out and drag him back. The next night, Rodman grabbed 14 rebounds and played like nothing happened. That was his balance. Complete chaos off the court, absolute control on it. After basketball, his need for chaos didn't fade. It evolved. In 2013, Rodman flew to North Korea with a vice crew to meet Kim Jong-un.
It just is. It's more complicated than basketball, fellas. I'm sorry.
That's what, Joe. One day. Let me do this. I would love to speak on this.
Go ahead.
Really, I'm gonna tell you one thing. People around the world, I'm gonna do one thing. You guy behind the mic right now, we are the guys here doing one thing. We have to go back to America and take the abuse.
A retired NBA star and the world's most dangerous dictator, the strangest friendship imaginable.
All I want to say is this to my friend and his wife and his family. Happy birthday to you.
The world called him insane, but Rodman said Kim was his friend for life. He sang happy birthday to him, drank with him, laughed with him, and even tried to become an unofficial diplomat. To most people, it looked like another Rodman stunt, another chapter in his never-ending circus. But if you listen closely, you'll hear something else. A man searching for connection in a world that never truly accepted him.
It's every 2 minutes. I told you, it's every 2 minutes.
When you've spent your whole life feeling unwanted, even the strangest friendship can feel like home. Rodman wasn't pretending, he wasn't acting. He was just trying to survive in a world that demanded he pick a side, hero or villain. But Dennis was both. He was the warrior and the wounded, the entertainer and the outcast, the man who could guard Michael Jordan and still cry himself to sleep. Dennis Rodman didn't just live a double life, he had to. Because for him, being two people was the only way to stay alive. If Rodman's war was chaos, Iverson's was pain. The same fire that made him unstoppable on the court was burning him alive off it. Allen Iverson wasn't meant to survive the game or the streets that tried to swallow him whole. Coming out of Hampton, the odds were stacked high, but somehow he became the answer. The legend who crossed up Michael Jordan shook the league to its core and forced the NBA to rewrite its own rules. He didn't just change basketball, he gave an entire generation the courage to show up as themselves, no matter who tried to stop them. But long before the bright lights, there was chaos. At 17, a fight broke out in a Virginia bowling alley, a night that turned into a racial brawl. Chairs flying, people screaming, and Iverson, the local hero, was the one who got arrested. 15 years in prison, 4 months later, he was pardoned. But the damage was done. He learned early that freedom could vanish in a second, and from that day on, he played like every game might be his last. When he finally reached the NBA, he wasn't just a rookie, he was a revolution. Cornrows, tattoos, baggy clothes. He didn't try to fit in, he made the world adapt to him. They called him a thug, a rebel, a problem. But Iverson wasn't trying to be an image, he was trying to survive. Still, the more he won, the more the other life took over. The entourage got bigger, the nights got longer, casinos, clubs, champagne. The same fire that made him fearless on the court was burning him alive off it. He could drop 40 points, then lose $200,000 before sunrise. The man who inspired millions was losing control of himself. Then came 2002, the press conference that changed everything.
I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice. I know I'm supposed to be there. I know I'm supposed to lead by example. I know that. And I'm not shoving it aside, you know, like it don't mean anything. I know it's important. I do. I honestly do. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice.
We talking about practice? Not a game. Not the game I die for. We talking about practice. It became a meme before memes even existed. But what nobody knew was that Iverson had just lost his best friend, Rahsaan Langford, to murder. He wasn't angry about practice, he was grieving. The world saw arrogance, but what they were really seeing was pain. Over time, the double life caught up. The money, gone. The friends, gone. By 2012, Iverson was divorced, banned from casinos, and nearly broke. In one courtroom, he shouted that he couldn't even afford a cheeseburger. But what no one knew was that Reebok had quietly locked away a $32 million trust fund for him, money he couldn't touch until 2030. Even when he was falling apart, fate had left him one final rebound. And then in 2016, Iverson stood on the Hall of Fame stage, crying, smiling, thanking the people who saved him and even those who didn't.
I think I thank him for blessing me to be the man that I am and have no regrets.
For the first time, he didn't look angry. Maybe after all those years, the two lives he'd been living had finally become one. Some players fought demons in the open. Others kept their battles buried under perfection. Kobe Bryant looked like he had it all. But even the brightest stars cast the darkest shadows. To the world, Kobe Bryant was the definition of perfection.
Once upon a time, there was a young basketball player who had dreams of becoming one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Flawless smile, ruthless discipline, and an obsession that scared even his rivals. He wasn't just a basketball player, he was a movement, a mindset, a symbol of what raw dedication could do. Every drop of sweat, every sleepless night screamed one truth: if you outworked everyone, you could become untouchable. But behind that golden image, a secret war was raging inside him. But behind that perfection lived a man who couldn't rest.
Still waiting for a big smile out of you. You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Because when you spend your life chasing greatness, peace starts to feel like failure. Every morning, Kobe woke up at 4 a.m. to train. No parties, no distractions, no excuses. He built an image of absolute control, but the truth is, he was terrified of losing it. He grew up studying film. While other kids were learning to live, Kobe was learning how to win. And that's the thing about perfection. It's beautiful from a distance, but up close, it's lonely. Then in 2003, the mask cracked. A 19-year-old woman in Colorado accused Kobe of sexual assault.
The challenge is who you are as a person. You know, to have to go through something like that, you know, with not only individually, but, you know, as a family. And then, You know, for the organization, the Lakers organization, my teammates, it was extremely difficult, and you kind of had to do some soul searching.
He denied it, but the headlines didn't care. Overnight, his entire world turned upside down. The perfect image, gone. Sponsors dropped him, fans turned on him. The same people who called him a hero now called him a monster. He faced the cameras with his wife beside him, apologizing to her, his eyes hollow, his voice shaking. That was the day Kobe Bryant died, and the Black Mamba was born. Kobe later said he created the Mamba to survive, to separate the man from the monster. Because when your real self is drowning, sometimes you have to invent a stronger one. The Mamba didn't feel guilt or fear or pain, and for years that mask saved him. He buried himself in work, obsessed over every detail, every missed shot, every flaw. He rebuilt his image not through words, but through war. He destroyed opponents, won back-to-back championships, and earned his redemption on the court. But the harder he fought to control everything, the less control he actually had. Behind closed doors, Kobe was quiet, distant, haunted. Teammates said being around him felt like standing next to a machine, cold, precise, unstoppable, and alone. Even in victory, he couldn't relax. Every win was just another reason to work harder. And when his body began to fail, he fought that too, until the fight itself became who he was. Then, after 20 years, came the one battle he couldn't win: time. His final game in 2016 was more than a farewell. It was a transformation. He dropped 60 points. He smiled. For once, he looked human again. Not the Mamba, not the myth. Just Kobe. Retirement wasn't the end. It was a rebirth. He became a storyteller, an Oscar winner for Dear Basketball, a mentor to young players, and the proud father of 4 daughters. He had finally found balance, the thing he'd been chasing his whole life but never understood. And then, just as he found peace, it was taken away.
Congratulations, baby. All of your hard work and sacrifices paid off. You once told me, if you're going to bet on someone, bet on yourself. I'm glad you bet on yourself, you overachiever. You did it. You're in the Hall of Fame now. You're a true champ. You're not just an MVP. You're an all-time great. I'm so proud of you. I love you forever and always. Kobe Bean Bryant.
January 26, 2020. A helicopter crash claimed his life, his daughter Gianna's, and 7 others. The world stopped. Millions cried, not for the legend, but for the man he had finally become. Kobe Bryant lived 2 lives, one in the spotlight, disciplined, calculated, perfect, and one in the dark, broken, human, learning to forgive himself. The Mamba wanted greatness, but Kobe just wanted peace. And maybe that was his real victory. Not the rings, not the records, but the moment he finally let himself breathe. They called them legends, champions, icons. But behind all that glory, they were just men bleeding under the weight of fame, pressure, and pain in a world that only loved the spotlight. They lived 2 lives, one polished for the cameras and one buried deep in the dark. Because true greatness isn't about perfection, and if you think they were the only ones living that double life, oh, you haven't seen anything yet. What do you think really drove these legends? The fame, the pain, or something deeper? Do you see their struggles as the price of greatness or the proof of it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing your take on these stories. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the journey, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Ball Stories for more untold moments from the game. There's a lot more waiting, stories that'll make you rethink what it means to be a legend. Catch you in the next one. Stay inspired and stay ballin'.